Are you looking to get into meditation but not sure where to start? You're not alone. In my 20 years of experience, both as a meditation practitioner and meditation teacher, I found that while some techniques are perfect for beginners, other techniques should be left to more seasoned practitioners. As a beginner, when you're looking for your meditation technique, consider the following. First, keep it simple. You want a technique with simple instructions so that you can focus on the actual meditation rather than wondering what you're supposed to be doing. Secondly, focus on something simple. In meditation, you can choose to focus on various things, but it's best to focus on something simple like your breath. Thirdly, when you need to, increase the sensory experience. For instance, if you're focusing on your breath, you can accentuate the sound of the breath, and that will help you to focus. I'm going to explain that a lot more, just a little later on. When I was beginning meditation, I thought that mindful breathing was the be-all and end-all of the practice. Boy, was I wrong. Indeed, mindful breathing is not number one on this list. So what is? Let's find out with my top 5 best meditation techniques for beginners. Number 5, Zen Walking, otherwise called Kinhin. Zen Walking, or Kinhin, is a wonderfully easy and relaxing exercise for beginners. It's a form of mindful movement, that type of exercise that incorporates other techniques such as Tai Chi and Qigong. However, Zen Walking is a lot easier. In Zen Walking, all we essentially do is slowly walk up and down a straight path, and while we're walking, we pay close attention to the movement in our legs. Studies show that Zen Walking can help to reduce anxiety and stress and to even improve sleep. It does this by promoting activity of the parasympathetic nervous system while simultaneously lowering cortisol levels, the stress hormone. However, what makes Zen Walking so blinking good for beginners is the fact that even if you completely forget to do the meditation part, you'll still be walking. And walking by itself is good for your mental health, especially if you happen to do it somewhere relaxing like a beautiful nature reserve. Indeed, when I'm stressed or when I get just a little bit down, I'll put my shoes on, head out the door, go to a nearby park, and just do a little bit of walking. I can choose whether I want to do Zen walking and pay attention to the movement in my legs, or just, generally walk and be mindful of the relaxing scenery. Either way, it's really good for your mental health. Number 4, Traana, or candle gazing. Traana, or otherwise called candle gazing, is a form of meditation in which we simply keep our gaze held still while focusing at an object directly ahead. It's traditionally done by focusing on the flame of a candle. However, you can focus on anything that's plain and simple. For instance, you can just put a little mark on a wall and gaze straight ahead at that. Studies show that by holding our gaze still, we reduce neural activity, and that in turn helps us to focus. And of course, focus is one of the big challenges for beginner meditators, hence why Traana is such a good technique for beginners. There's also some really cool and perhaps unexpected benefits of this technique. For instance, I once taught Traana meditation to a professional gamer in order to improve their aim. Because Traana improves focus and also improves hand-eye coordination, it actually makes gamers have better aim. So that's just one of many unexpected benefits. Why not try it and let me know what benefits you notice. Number 3, visualization meditation. Visualization meditation is a technique in which we use our imagination to visualize different things. For instance, your quintessential visualization meditation involves imagining or visualizing relaxing nature scenes. Let's say, for example, that you visualize that you're standing on warm sands, hearing the swoosh of the waves, as all around you is nothing but an expanse of blue ocean and sky. And so, by imagining such scenes, we relax. Which is also really cool, because if you think about it, it means that we have in our mind the ability to just create different scenes and to imagine that we're there. And by doing so, we'll relax and reduce stress. And so we have in our mind the ability to heal ourselves just by imagining certain things. Some people do like to visualize achieving certain goals. For instance, perhaps you visualize getting promoted at work. I advise beginners against doing that. And the reason is this. Studies show that when we visualize having achieved success, we actually convince the mind that we have already achieved that success, and therefore that we don't need to strive towards it. Now, there are good ways to visualize yourself achieving certain things. They're just a lot more complex than many people realize. That's why, for beginners, you might like to just visualize a relaxing nature scene. Number 2, mindful breathing. You knew mindful breathing had to be somewhere on this list. It is the quintessential form of meditation in which we focus our awareness on the breath. Many people think that meditation is just mindful breathing and that that is the only technique, which is, of course, far from the truth. I myself, 20 years ago, when I first got into meditation, thought the entire practice was just mindful breathing, but there's a ton of different techniques, as we've explored a little bit here. Mindful breathing is all about just observing the movement of the breath through the body, and there's various ways in which to do that. For instance, try this very quick box breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose to a count of 4. And pause for 4. Breathe out of the mouth for 4. Again, pause for 4. And repeat. And if you did that while observing your breath, I'm confident that you already feel a little bit more relaxed than you were before. Scientific research proves that there are a ton of benefits of mindful breathing. It reduces anxiety, stress, depression. It improves emotional awareness and emotional control. It reduces cortisol levels. It balances dopamine levels. It reduces activity of the sympathetic nervous system while promoting activity of the parasympathetic nervous system. It balances hemispheres of the brain. There's a lot of benefits to it. And so you might wonder, wow, if mindful breathing is so blinking beneficial, Paul, then why is it not number 1 on your list? Well, here's why. Many beginners find it difficult to focus on something as subtle as the breath. If you think about the breath, it's pretty quiet. There's not a lot of physical sensations involved. You can't see it. There's not a lot there for your mind to focus on. And so, just mindful breathing is actually a little bit challenging for beginners because it doesn't give you enough to focus on. With that in mind, let me present to you numero 1, Soan Meditation. Soan Meditation is mindful breathing with a twist. So in Soan Meditation, just as in mindful breathing, we are observing the breath. The one difference is that we use, well, it's called a mantra, but it's... Anyway, so in Soan Meditation, we make the sound so. Making the sound so on the out breath and hum on the in breath, which, by the way, is the natural sound that the breath makes. It's just accentuated a little bit. So. And that tiny little change, that tiny little change of slightly vocalizing the sound of the breath gives you a lot more to focus on. Do it. And you'll notice there's more sound, there's more physical sensation, there's simply more of a sensory experience. And because of that, your mind has more to focus on, and it is easier for beginners to concentrate so that they can meditate, which is why Soan Meditation is my #1 meditation technique for beginners. There's also a cool meaning to the word Soham, although for me the mantra isn't really about the meaning, but there is a cool meaning. It means I am that. I am that means I, individual, am that universe. And so that kind of reminds us as well that we're one with everything, which is a really good philosophy and mindset with which to start meditating. And there you are, my top 5 best meditation techniques for beginners. I've done so many different meditation techniques in my 20 years as a teacher and a meditation practitioner. I've learned that some meditation techniques are better for you than others, and that most people, because we're all individuals, most people resonate with specific different meditation techniques, so it's worth experimenting with different ones to see which ones work best for you. If you are looking to get the most out of meditation, perhaps you're new and you want to learn properly, or you just want to explore new techniques, then why not join me for a private meditation session on thedailymeditation.com. Together we'll explore meditation and you'll learn powerful meditative techniques with which to improve your mental health and to embrace a more peaceful life.